Hello, everybody. I don't know what's happening. I have a feeling it's going to be buggy and weird. So, maybe I'll just hit this record button on this stream thing and also record this.
Don't you hit it, because that's gonna like kill your memory. Is there?
Never mind. I won't do that.
Ava had said she could maybe record.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay. Well, we don't need
Ava
to.
could.
We don't need to. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to
Okay.
be easy, and if it's not easy, let's not do it. Hey everybody. As you can see, we were troubleshooting tech things that I don't even know what happened. My PC is just being real slow today. And I don't really know why. Hopefully it will stop. So hi. Before we get into our normal stuff, we have all our normal pre-game things that we do, including reading Chelsea's poem. I do see it, thank you. We want to take a second to address the instance of domestic terrorism that occurred in Atlanta recently. Obviously, we can't address it in full in a way that will ever do justice to what needs to be said. But we want to say a few things. First is that our !donate command in chat now links to a place where you can put money and also find information about anti-Asian American and Pacific Islander racism that occurs in the U.S. And more broadly, which we encourage you to both read about, and if you have the ability to, donate to the cause, then please consider to do that. A few things we kind of gathered that we wanted to say as a group in terms of our our feelings, our stance, our on all of this. We stand in solidarity with the Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, and the victims and their families, which can only really take us so far. And we want to also say that we want to ask that everybody is vigilant against anti-Asian racism that occurs in our language, that occurs when people are talking about the coronavirus. There's a lot of really nasty racist things that are normalized into our language that people think are just funny jokes. But that's how this stuff gets fed into behaviors, violence, and so much worse. And we've seen such a huge rise in anti-Asian American racism and racist acts since the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak. That's just unconscionable. So speak up when you can. When you hear it, please do what you can to call it out, because it all contributes to the kinds of mentalities that lead to or can lead to violence like this, and that's scary. We also wanted to point out that because of the location that the attacks occurred in, or the beauty salons and parlors, there's often a conflation or an assumption that those are connected to sex workers when it's Asian women who are targeted. And there's kind of two things we wanted to say on that front too, which is one, like a lot of women who are in those places and are sex workers are trafficked and have already experienced a lot of violence against them in other ways. And two, whether they're trafficked or not, sex workers deserve dignity and respect and life, and should not be thought less of or thought that their lives didn't matter when they are then violently taken out of this world. So with that said, plus, like, I guess just as one last note, like, let's not overassume those kinds of connections either, because it contributes to anti-Asian racism in which people kind of exoticize Asian women. So with all of that said, obviously it's only a drop in the bucket against the huge force of racism that exists in the US and elsewhere. But we did want to take a moment to take a minute of silence and honor, as much as our little stream can, the lives of those who were lost in this attack. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, and the players will as well. And then I'll time us a minute and bring us back in just a second. Okay, thanks everyone for doing that with us. I know it's hard in the wake of such heavy things to move on to something that can seem trivial or just for fun, but I want to remind everyone of something that someone very dear to me has reminded me of recently, which is that in caring for ourselves in the world that we live in today, we also have to find not just ways to manage the bad, but also ways to infuse joy in our lives. And to bring ourselves closer to our communities. And so, with that, I invite you to yeah, to join us as we step back into our game of Spire, and to be kind to yourself and your needs. And if, the themes of the game or anything else are sitting too heavy for you tonight, to step away because we understand. And with that said, let's jump in. First of all, we like to let you know about other things Helpful Goat is doing. So let's see. Tomorrow we'll be playing Tier Moontree Isle at 7 Mountain Time, 9 Eastern Time. Someday I'll have that down so smooth. Next week we'll have Goats of Saltmarsh on Wednesday at 7 Mountain Time, 9 Eastern Time. More Spire on Thursday, same time, same place. 6:30 is a joke these days, but maybe it'll happen sometime. 6:30. We'll start sometimes between 6:30 and 7 Mountain Time, and of course, Fates of Rin Friday at 7 Mountain Time, 9 Eastern. We have Chelsea's poem to read. It's been a long time since I've read one, so I'm just gonna do it tonight. So here's Chelsea's poem for us. Here in the Silver Quarter, among the high society trash, the swan has been found, his schemes and party to crash. With care and deception in this undercover mission, hoping the best outcome will come to fruition. Remember when in doubt, release every bee. Much love, Spire crew, your amazing voices I hear, and your wonderful faces I see. Thank you, Chelsea. As always, just beautiful, wonderful, and we appreciate so much that you would take the time and energy every time for us and write us a unique and fitting poem. Yes, we'll also quickly introduce ourselves. So, hello. Now that you've heard me ramble for a few minutes already, my name is Elise. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am the GM of this wonderful game of Spire. And I am going to pass it to, I get to cheat because I have the stream view right here, so I can just see exactly what's happening. I'm going to pass it to Tyler. Take it away, Tyler.
Cool. Hi, I'm Tyler. Pronouns he, him, his. I play Anders Stolken and company. Collective pronouns of he, him, his. And I am gonna go for this way to Sarah. Did I do that right?
You're muted. Yep.
That kind of night, huh? All right. I'm going to introduce myself is what I'm gonna do.
No, you're just gonna point.
I'm Sarah. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I play Din, whose pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm gonna give it to Sam.
Hi, y'all. I am Sam, and I play Edik Sharmuza, and both of us go by he, him, his pronouns. And I'm gonna go up to Ava, who can't point, which is fun.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Ava. Y'all might recognize me from previous game streams. I use she, her pronouns. So does my character, Chu, the Queen of Excess. Today I don't have a camera, which is unfortunate, but I'll have one working up and going next time. And I will pass it on to the always wonderful Rachel. And if you could see me pointing, you'd know I was pointing at her right now. So
Perfectly right direction.
yeah, thank you.
I am Rachel, and I play Alvy, and both of us are she, her, hers. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. So I'm gonna point it back to Elise.
Okay, cool. Good job, crew. So we have our pregame ritual. We have to get through the recap, as well as do a quick stress check. Make sure I have all of your stress levels correct, and then we will um, get Sam and Rachel's new rotating ability for the game and jump on into tonight's session. So let's do stress first so that we can just kind of move a little more seamlessly between the other pieces. Edik, what is your stress?
Oh, jeez, I had my notes up to look at.
I surprised you. I blindsided.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh, we're doing stress and then recap. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm
I'd
at
like to
0.
set expectations and then destroy them.
I think
Sounds like
I'm
Spire.
at.
You're at 0.
think
I
I'm
have
at
you at
0.
1 mind, but
Oh,
will-
you know what? I am at 1 mind. I ran out of all of my
Okay.
things. Yep.
Cool.
I don't remember where that came from, but that is another thing for me to write on a note to Lukash. 1 mind stress.
Okay, Anders.
I have 1 stress, and that's to Shadow.
Chu?
So I'm no longer bleeding as of the beginning of last session,
Yes.
but I still have 3 blood stress.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Din?
0.
0. Okay. Alvi?
0.
Okay. Recap. What happened last time?
Last time on Spire, Ball Z. Yes. So let's see. We all got mentioned our new advances, which took some time. And then I gave Anders, or I revealed what Anders' ability was, which is that he doesn't need to breathe. And as a reminder to everyone, for the duration of this situation, we all have our abilities, our additional ancestral abilities. I wrote that I asked the Divine GM question, which was all about like trying to find a link between the swan killings and the demonic energies throughout Spire and in Perch. And we learned that the death of Brennan had, which was Chu's former manager, had a very personal connection. And it was because Chu had said something apparently disparaging about the swan, and then bada bing, bada boom, Brennan's dead, tit for tat. And then, of course, we accidentally killed Thean, which was a close friend of the swan. So, it all balances out. And we got a note from the swan basically saying, all's fair. I'm looking to see whatever it is you are going to do next. You should look out for whatever I'm going to do next. Dun dun dun. A few other notes, yada yada. And it was at this point that Anders mentioned that he got this deal with EO to go interface with the Swan, and much to his reluctance, he was accompanied by Eddic. And by the way, it wasn't Anders, it was Sten specifically that got the deal, and Sten who made the appearance at the Swans, or at EO's place of residence. And I've been speaking a lot, so if someone else wants to take over, I mean, I do have a lot of notes, but
I think you're the one that takes the good notes.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to speak for anybody else. I've been bad about taking notes lately.
Okay, then I shall continue. So we headed up to the Silver Quarter, where we had like a party split between Sten and Eddic, and then everybody else. We all went to the Mermaid, which is like the big casino joint in Silver Quarter. Apparently, no one has ever stolen from it. Yada yada. There was a lot of basically the entire Silver Quarter is made up of very wealthy drow and extremely eccentric Elfir. There were bizarre topiary that reminded us of the Amaranth. When Sten and I reached the front door of EO, we were greeted by 3 very, very inebriated partygoers. My alias is that I am a fence. And and we learned that Io is the sister of Callisto Brox, also known as the Swan. And then after a short little introductory period, we ended up actually meeting with Callisto Brox, who gave us a large heaping of money and about 30 doses of pure sulfur. And he wanted the sulfur gone, and he needs a new mortician connection, which just so happens that we absolutely have in the bag. And we also learned that Sten completely despises so many names. Bertold. There we go.
Yep, there
Bertold. Sten. Is it just Sten that hates Bertold, or like a majority of the personalities hate Bertold?
There's only Sten and Bertold right
Okay.
now. I have yet to create more covers, so for right now, it's just the angel and the devil on my shoulder. I guess I don't know.
Okay, beautiful. I was told that I was going to be watched as to what I do with disposing of this extremely pure sulfur. My alias name is Sturge, which I'm gonna definitely remember. And I have to report back to Callisto with what I end up doing with all of this. And I didn't take a whole lot of notes with what happened with the other party. We all eventually ended up meeting up, which was great. But if somebody else wants to speak as to what was going on with Party B, by all means.
Didn't I ask Elise a question? Did I totally didn't take notes on?
You did. It was about who would be the most direct connection as to trying to figure out who gives Callisto his orders.
That Din
that was
Din's
Sarah's
ability,
I think,
yeah. Not
Right.
Alvi asked, you talked about using Alvi's question.
I think we used it
At the beginning, the investigation that Eddic and maybe Anders rolled got a lot of the information that you were talking about using your ability for, but I think you did use it, and I think what it ended up telling you was that it was something about the mistress. You got pointed back to the mistress as a person who would have more information about something. Does anyone? It's a good thing we took notes on that, huh?
Sorry, I used to be better, but I've stopped.
I have information. I said that we were listening to the servants. The gnolls do the labor, but the groundskeeper is in charge of the gnolls.
Oh,
and
that's
so
when
the
we went
insurance
in.
It's
So
it's
we
the
went
records
in.
in the offices are the answer. Who is hiring them? Is that the word I wrote there? I can't read it.
Yeah, I
but it
think
was
Oh,
something
yeah.
to do with the
yeah.
records that are in an office
Yep.
that
That's
that
right.
deal with the
Mhm.
mistress,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, so you wanted to know about like how who's in charge of the gnolls or something like that?
Oh, no, I
and
wanted
it's
to know
Crofer.
who's in charge of the
So
fucking swan. Like, what I
Right.
wanted to know
Yeah,
was
that,
like,
that that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we
yeah.
were
because
Yes.
gonna ask.
Thean,
So
whatever, was killed, and
Yes.
he wasn't
And
giving him
Uh,
orders, and obviously the swan is not actually in charge of whatever it is he's doing, that there's
yeah,
somebody telling him to do.
right.
So it was who was
So
telling him, and you
just to
kind
to
of clarified
clarify,
it.
It's
Okay, I remember now.
what you're talking about came later in the session than what Rachel's talking about. So we're gonna circle back to what you're pointing out, but like I want to like early in the session, Alvi used her mental directory to try and figure out who's in charge of kind of sending like the Swan mission notes and things like that. Like if and yeah, go ahead.
and we also learned at that point that the targets were people who would have wanted to slow or stop the flow of sulfur to and from New Heaven.
Or the other smuggling operations. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then, okay, thank you for remembering that. And then now if we circle back to um the it was Chu, Din, and Alvi coming in the back. And that was when Din did her ability to find out who was the most yeah, so if you want to finish that part of the recap.
we're just chilling, it's a party.
Yeah, like
Very
we
useful.
found out it was Crofer. Their pronouns are he, him, and yeah. So Crofer knows like who's in favor, who's not, like in charge of the servants, the gnolls, kind of takes care of the house, but also with the revelers, like make sure that like there's knowledge of who they are, and again like who's in favor, who's not. The notes that I have.
And also, I got really distracted by the garden and all the plants and things. So you guys kind of went ahead some, and I'm just investigating the plants and really deep into them.
Yeah. So let's pick up in the garden with Din kind of was listening. Oh, did you
We
got
need
a
to do our abilities.
yes, thank you. Let's hear those
Yeah.
abilities, Sam and Rachel.
I was thinking of doing, last time I had Fix to heal Chew. I was thinking of doing Compel to convince people that we're supposed to be here.
Okay.
Would you consider I'm gonna take it in pursue and in regards to pursuing those that are involved in illegal smuggling operations.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Now we will pick up where we left off outside in the gardens. We had Din kind of overhearing a conversation, like a smoke break essentially, between I think it was like the chef and somebody else, just talking about Crofer, which is kind of how you picked up on who Crofer is. And Alvi and Chu kind of hanging back as Alvi got excited about the garden, and Chu just kind of trying to lay low, not be seen, because Chu is sus as a very recognizable persona. Or
Did she change her looks?
I haven't. I was going to when we hung back like near the plants. I was going to use that as an opportunity to chill with you
Okay.
and use my glamour ability to appear. His name was Crofer. Or was it he/him pronouns?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Crofer.
don't
I was
know
going.
about Crofer yet because that's something Din found out, and you haven't actually reconvened with
Didn't we
Din.
meet Crofer when we
No,
came in, like the manager person?
nope.
Oh,
You
okay.
met somebody who opened the door for you at the back, but if you want
Okay.
to appeal to that person, you don't know who that person is.
Hmm.
That
I
was kind of
mean,
seemed like someone who was,
yeah,
like managed deliveries and the influx of people and things through the back. Had a clipboard, seemed, you know,
yeah. I'd probably choose them
okay,
right off the top of my head, just because I feel like I need something at this party. Even if it's not like a top of the chain kind of deal.
okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So yeah, you kind of focus on him and start to. You want to describe how the ability
Oh
again?
yeah. I choose like a nearby plant and I, plop my little makeup case on there and I open it up and I start applying makeup while I assume Alvi is like, oh, look at the like striation on these leaves. um, and I basically begin to apply this makeup and like shift my posture a little bit here and there, and a little swirl of black magic appears. And I don't get to determine how I look, but I think of a person, I target a person, and I begin to look a little bit more like that person's preference. So if they like tall people, I'll look a little taller. If they like elfier, I'll look like a little paler. If they, whatever, right? If they're, obsessed with a person, then I'll start to look more like that person. But I always look like myself. I can't like pass. This doesn't like automatically make me pass as another person. I just have like different features that are accentuated because of it.
Yeah. So as you kind of focus on this person, and this guy, it's a person who uses he/him pronouns, identifies as man, is hanging out in the back, kind of near that entrance, like had been expecting some flower deliveries last you kind of heard. So he's still kind of hanging back there, like looking over his notes, making some marks and stuff. And as you kind of think about him and focus on him and like do this ritual, you start to your skin kind of darkens a little bit into like more kind of almost deeper purple shades, and your chin kind of seems to fill out a little bit, when Alvi like looks back at you, kind of does like a little like um as your chin kind of fills out just a bit and your muscles look a little more pronounced and wide, your shoulders kind of widen out a bit, and
Contouring.
yeah,
If the men find out we can shapeshift,
they're going to tell the
they'll tell the
church.
church.
Oh God, they're taking us to pools now. I just love that so much. Okay, yes. So yeah, you shapeshift just a little. You're just, you look a little more masculine, a little more filled out, a little bulkier.
Would you say a little more swanny?
No, actually, not a little more swanny. The swan has an extremely pointed chin, and has like the very pronounced cheekbones, almost gaunt to the cheeks, because these cheekbones are like literally razor sharp, and then just kind of go into this really pointed chin. So
You are
you're
looking a little bit like a swaggin.
Oh, Jesus.
thanks, Sam. Always can count on you for
The hardest friggin' name to say.
yeah, and that's yeah, you kind of take on a little bit more masculine, bulky presence, I would say, is the best way to kind of sum up the changes.
Nice. I'll say she still has like her hood up and is trying to be like low key, but she'll like maybe like if she has like a shawl or something, she'll like tuck it into her shoulders to like see more like broad and like accentuate everything even
Hmm.
just like a little bit more,
Yeah, just
and
add the like
the
physical
bulkiness,
touches to
yeah.
the. Mhm.
And then I'll just kind of like stand next to Alvy and I'll be like, so we should probably catch up to Din, but maybe not like too close, I mean, I think we're both a little bit compromised in this kind of, well, social setting, I should say.
Yeah, I don't exactly belong in places like this, but I could belong in the garden, pretend that I'm
Hey,
supposed
you're
to be
not a
here.
plant, okay?
Oh, but one can dream.
I'll be like, here, come this way. And I'll like take off your glasses and I'll like put out like a little makeup and I'll put a little makeup on you. I'll be like, oh my gosh, you're gonna fit in like great. Don't
Did you
worry.
Did
Like-
you just like what's
I'm gonna
the
Glenda
She's
her
all that.
Yeah.
from
I got
Wicked.
she's all that
yeah.
in you.
Oh, I mean literally any of those. I was thinking of the Princess Diaries, right?
Oh,
Okay.
Any
okay.
of
fair.
the literally millions of
Any-
times that
right.
they're
I
like,
was gonna popular you.
"Oh my god,
Take
you're
my
beautiful."
ponytail down.
Yeah,
Right.
put your hair down, take the hair out, and then you're
So
good.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
um,
And make sure that the montage is to that vacation song.
yeah.
Bring
Uh,
it back. I'm just like very. Oh god. I
I'll
do
grab
need
a
to
couple leaves
see.
and like rub them on your lips, and I'm like, these cause
Oh.
swelling. It'll look great.
They do. I think I might be poisoned.
Oh no.
It's fine. You'll gain feeling back in a day. It's
Oh.
worth it. Old trick.
I think that. Sorry, I was just gonna say I think Din would come back once she kind of got that information and share it with everyone. Oh, you too. Is everyone.
With everybody.
Hey, guards. Okay, cool. Well, so what's next? I mean, I guess we look for this Crowder dude. Crowler? Crowber? What's his name?
Crofer.
Crofer? Crofer?
Right,
Let's
because
look for this
Matt called him
Crofer guy.
Crofer Grace, and that's how we can remember it.
I don't know who Crofer Grace is.
Oh, Topher Grace is an
Topher.
actor.
Let's look for Crofer Grace, huh? You have any where should we look, Dan? Do you know? I mean, I guess I could maybe like think about it a little bit too. God, I grew up in the silver thingies. Do I know about where
Oh my
Crofer would
God.
be in this estate? Crofer? Crofer? It's Crofer, right?
I put it in
Yes.
the chat.
Okay.
It's Crofer. It's spelled like the bird,
Crofer.
crow.
Someone
then
said
F-E-R.
Crowley in chat, and
Yes.
so I'm just
It's all over the place, but his name is Crofer. Okay, all right, kids. I will shut this stream down. All right, yeah. So,
the
you know,
crowbar.
somebody like that, somebody who is a kind of head of household in the way, like obviously, like this house revolves around the swan, but Crofer, you're familiar with the type of position Crofer would hold, as this kind of, you know, like essentially like manages everything about the estate so that the crow, oh my God, the crow, the swan doesn't have to. This is the crow to the swan. Much
It's the
smarter,
crow
much
to-
less flashy.
Does Swanfer serve the crow?
Yeah, at a different estate. Um, so, as to where he would be, could be honestly anywhere because from what Din has described to you, it sounds like he is an extremely trusted um, person to the Swan and would be managing all sorts of business. You also get the sense not the kind of person who would be managing the back door for deliveries. This is a higher level. This would be someone who delegates somebody to go manage the back door for deliveries. So the person you
Nice.
met at the back door, who you are now like glamored for, is not Crofer. You don't think?
Cool. So what are we gonna do with Amy Croferchar? I'm just gonna pick a different name from chat every time. What are we gonna do with Stouffer? Where are we going with that? Din, any ideas? Alvi, any ideas?
No.
I mean, I could always try and ask around, but like I said before, I don't, you know, I think I should probably try and keep a low profile, but
Subterfuge isn't really my strength. I'm not. I don't know what to do here. I'm very nervous.
okay, I
could-
have an idea then.
I could talk to the gnolls
Trying to
about
listen.
the plants.
We could ask somebody about something that has to do with the estate. Let's find someone we haven't talked to before and say, hey, we have a thing. It's a little too important for the back door. We need to talk with Crowbar and where is he at right now so that we can get to him. Does that sound good? Are y'all good with that?
Good as anything we have.
Sure.
Okay, the only problem is I can't, like, I would be more than happy to go up and talk to a random stranger and be like, hey, haha, how's it going? We're doing this thing. But I can't do it because, I like wave at my face and it's like me,
Mhm.
So, um,
I can put
do
on
y'all
the
want to play rock,
assistant's
paper,
mask.
scissors?
Din is good at speaking with people and pretending that she's
I
other people.
almost
I'm
want to
not really
see
great at
Alfie do it.
lying. Yes, but lying is hard.
You don't have to lie. Didn't you find anything about these plants that we could use? Surely
What
Buffont would want to know about something.
what would we what are we trying to get from him?
I don't know. Is there like a plant that would go great with these that you think would be great, like a good delivery and you have to like pitch it to him or something? I don't know, just anything. We were looking at the plants. Listen, Crofer's French bread pizza has been running this estate head to toe, okay? You can speak their language.
Yeah, I can. Din can too, though. Maybe I could be a backup. Maybe I'm a backup.
This is your time to shine, I think. I really want to
I'm
see you do this, Alfie.
I'm more of an unpolished mineral than I am a shining gem. I'm rough around the edges, as they say. That's how
Perfect
you
for
would
this kind of
describe me.
environment.
Oh,
That's exactly what we need.
oh,
Someone who's rough around the
oh,
edges.
As a GM,
oh.
I'm just sitting in absolute bewilderment as to why your like literal spy, party spy, is not that is standing right next to you, is
She
not the
was
one
just
to
having
assist.
so much fun riling Alfie up. Listen, Alfie, it's fine. Look, you'll go, you'll say a few words, we'll go talk to chauffeur, and it'll be fine.
I'll look to Din and be like, is it, is this, are you, is this a, i- do you think this is a good idea?
It's your time to shine.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she was like grinning ear to ear. Oh my god. This is what parties are for, Alfie. You gotta cut back. You gotta learn to let loose.
Parties, I've only ever been to yours. I don't, I don't know. So what, you want me to say things about plants? Am I offering him plants?
I mean, basically anything plant related that you think will get us to talk to the estate head. So maybe this type of plant is shitty and it's about to release a bunch of toxins and kill everybody.
They
Or
need
maybe it's
bees.
gonna,
Maybe they need pollinators to make their plants better.
maybe they need
As you
bees and
say
you happen
this,
to be a bee
you hear someone
person.
clear their throat behind you. You're talking about bees and pollination, and someone clears their throat behind you and is like, and you turn and you look, and it's a knoll gardener, and the gardener is like, our plants, we tend to the pollination really carefully in certain seasons, so um, can are you in the workspace there? The pool is that way. I didn't. Am
You're
I?
not catching it? There we go. No, it's me. I just work with plants, and I wanted to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to speak with
Okay.
Crofer about helping with the plants. I have ideas about your plants. You're doing a fantastic job. They look amazing. I don't even know that I could really add that much, to be honest, but I think I could probably add some if we work together. Maybe I could just talk.
Oh,
You're doing great.
okay. Well, Crofer is not. He's in the house, so
Oh,
um.
should I go? I was just looking at the beautiful work that you've done so far. I was just checking it out for research purposes before I went and
Oh,
spoke with him, of course.
yeah. Okay. This Noel has no idea what to do with you. As just like, uh-huh. And like they just kind of turn around and pick up some gardening tools and like kind of excuse me and like kind of move you to the side and start like pruning one of these little bushes that's been moved back here for like it needs a little sprucing up and like you see this knoll kind of very gently start tending to the little
If
leaves on
they stop looking at me, I close my eyes and disappear.
Before you disappear,
I
she will
straight
put
up
a
just
hand.
like,
She will put a hand on your shoulder and be like, "You did a great job," and she'll kind of make sure not to like give her appearance away, and she'll try to like sound a little different, but she'll be like, "You mentioned going to the house. Like, where is that at?" You pointed in a direction. I just needed
Oh,
like
well,
it's been a while since I was here.
I pointed to the pool, but the house, I mean, and like they kind of gesture around a walk, and it's right where Din had gone to kind of listen in on the conversation in the first place, was back kind of by where the kitchen's exit out into the back for servant access and things. So they kind of point, and it's like you're in kind of a greenhouse covered work area. And the knoll kind of points you around like the outside and back up the path a bit, which is more or less in the same direction that they pointed was where the pool is, but the pool is kind of off to the side, whereas the house is kind of straight back.
Yeah. Chu will then kind of like, if assuming Alvy's invisible, but she's still got a hand on her shoulder, she'll look for the other shoulder and like put her hand and like start steering Alvy in that direction and just be like, "Thanks, we'll let Gopher know you told us where he was at and that you're awesome. You'll get a big raise probably."
I
I think once I move, I become visible again.
And I
So
was like,
I'll
"Oh
just
God."
start walking.
Okay. You all head back up to the house.
Yeah. And while we're talking, I'll turn to Din and I'm like, "Okay, that was a good job, Alvy, getting us to go see Topher, but now we need somebody to actually talk to him."
Oh, thank God.
Din,
She just
you're up,
starts
fam.
hyperventilating, like literally just like hand on chest, just like
You did good, kid. And then Chu will she's getting into like that dude bro like buffer guy vibe of the party. She grabs like a red solo cup and she's like, "Can't wait to go see Goober. Let's go."
Somebody in pool clothes walks past you and goes, "Woo!" Like,
woo! Yeah.
All right.
She smacks him with a pool
is there
noodle and like ties it around him.
is there beer
Ties it around
pong going
himself.
on next
Somewhere,
to the
undoubtedly,
okay.
at all hours.
How many popped collars are there? That's
About 50.
Yeah, as many people as you can see who are
On
wearing
one
shirts.
person.
On
Yeah.
what? Yeah, they're the style. It's really
Now, just
layered.
remember, a
popped
lot of
collar.
people are not wearing shirts, but
but
those
they
who
somehow
are,
still have popped collars. It's weird.
it's weird.
It's just the collar,
It's just
actually.
the
Yeah,
collar.
it's just the collar.
They're wearing swim trunks and just
And
collars.
just collars that are popped.
Every time Chu passes somebody, she's like, "Shots!"
Yeah, and you just get constant like, "Yeah, man," like and more woos and all sorts of. But I mean, like a lot of people are, it's morning. Keep in mind that these are mostly drow, and so there's a lot of like big shady trees. And so that's a little different than the Aelfir gardening, right? Because the Aelfir don't care so much about like shade from the sun. But there's a lot of like big shady trees along all the walks and everything, especially the pool has a big cover so that it's in shade. But there are a lot of sunny patches on the estate where the gnolls and some human folk are working. But the drow are sticking to the kind of covered shaded paths. And yeah, you get up to the house. There's a couple different entrances back here. There's the like direct to the kitchen access, where you see the chef who is taking their cigarette break, like going back inside now, having finished their smoke break. You see a little bit like around a bit of a corner and up a ways, another kind of entrance that looks like also like kind of a small entrance to a back part of the house. You're not sure exactly where. And then along the side where the pool is, which you can now see like the kind of edges of like some bushes that kind of surround the pool, and through it you can hear some like splashing and things. People are in the pool. There's like an entrance to the house that seems to go directly to and from the pool, where like a lot of the more like woo folks with their solo cups and their popped collars are kind of walking back and forth.
Yeah. I guess like, do we see an area where we need to head to? Like that would be.
I mean, those are your choices, right? For getting into the house is through the kitchens, through this other entrance that maybe his servant quarters, servant path, and pool to house path.
Okay. I think we want to go servants' quarters, right?
Okay. Yeah, so you veer off kind of to the left and get into the house through the servants' quarters. Din, did you do anything? Are
I wanted
you
to have my citizen's mask on.
okay? Yeah, so you have your citizen's mask. Keep in mind, especially the other two, I think with Chu's kind of prepping for this, have a lot of like #1 fans of the Swan kind of stuff on, but I think Din,
Mhm.
keeps it a little more low key, especially with the citizen mask, like kind of an everybody nobody, right, kind of vibe to you. And
Stick to
yeah.
the average.
hmm So yeah, you kind of the door is unlocked. You slip through. Somebody kind of skirts past you holding like a tray of something. Looks like maybe they're taking something out towards the gardening area of the back. And they don't really blink an eye at you, although they kind of like do a double take when they see Chu and Alvi. But don't open their mouths and say anything and just carry on. And yeah, you head into the house. You are in kind of like an area that looks like a lot of the staging for the parties happens back here, right? This is like
Mhm.
supply closets. This is there's direct access to the kitchens. There's a really elaborate like cooler system where things are kept cold and fresh back here. There's like extra chairs and tables. You get and like some that have been back here like broken to be fixed up. You get the sense that like stuff doesn't necessarily last long. And there's an entire storeroom that is kept at a cold temperature for just flowers, keeping in mind that the other two have seen the inside and it's just flowers everywhere, right? Yeah, and that's kind of what you're seeing as you're walking into this area.
Cool. I want a mansion like this so I can burn it down.
Does anyone seem kind of to be like in charge back here? Like, does it seem like there's someone who could be like giving orders, or is it just a bunch of kind of underlings?
It looks like underlings back here. There's not very many. There's like one person kind of working like carpenter style on one of the tables that was broken. Looks like they're kind of fixing up one of the legs. There's somebody in the flower room kind of picking some cuttings, um, presumably to take somewhere else into the house. And the person who just passed by you seemed to be taking something again on that tray out into the gardens. Yeah, not many folks back here right now.
Chu will like pull aside like a working uh person who doesn't seem like they're moving but is like working more stationarily.
Okay.
And she'll be like, you there, we were sent by the doorman to go speak to Mofer, Womer, Wofer, Moder. What was it? Wait, what was it?
Are you talking this is the carpenter and she's like, "Are you talking about Grover?"
That's what it was. Yeah, we were sent to go see
Hmm.
Crofer. Yeah, pretty quickly. We need to line up some stuff for the
Yeah, just a
Swanner.
word of advice. Don't mess up his name to him.
I, I would never.
Well, I haven't seen him this morning, but usually he likes to stick close to Listo in case there's anything he needs. So I would go into the main house if you're looking for him. Kind of turns back to her
Thanks.
work.
Appreciate that. I put my little solo red cup on like the thing she's working on. I'm like, hey, that's for you. You're in that. Have a good time. And she'll just walk away.
Okay. Okay. You're heading into the
She's
main
digging
house.
that like douchey party vibe.
All right. Yeah. So the three of you, kind of make it go down the hallway into. You open up a set of doors that kind of swing in towards you, so you have to open them in. Um, and on the side towards you, they're very plain, and when you open them, they're very ornate. And it does like you walk into a kind of a main area. This is just a nice open tall area. There's stairs that go up to another level, but it's all kind of open air and like lots of space and it breathed a lot. There's a lot of these gauzy light silk curtains everywhere, and again, just flower petals on every surface, flowers on in vases everywhere. You see, kind of as you go into this room, off to your left, a door. Kind of half open with some of these gauzy curtains hanging in it, and through it you can see Edic and Anders on a couch, and they are talking to two people who are kind of facing away from you, and you can hear people in upstairs and around you. Some people seem to be going to bed, some people seem to be getting up. There's a lot of just general, it seems to be like a nonstop 24 hours a day kind of party environment here. And yeah, that's the kind of the vibe you walk into in here.
Alvi is very uncomfortable.
Let it be known.
I think Chu is just like not sure where to go next. It's
I'd
not.
like,
No, you go ahead.
just gonna say, I would want to just kind of like sit or stand somewhere innocuous and just like listen to what they're saying.
In the Tyler and
Mhm.
Anders and Edic. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you kind of drift over that way and kind of lean up against the wall, like you're just waiting to kind of see what happens. You can hear a little bit of the conversation happening in there. You kind of hear Edic musing on what seems to be something to do with demonic something. Seems to be talking about like, oh, it's very strong. You hear somebody kind of responding, a kind of masculine voice responding with some interest. This is kind of the tail end of the conversation that occurred last session. um, and as that kind of wraps up and you're kind of like leaning in to listen more. The door on the far side kind of opens, and a man walks in, a drow man, wearing a mask. The mask is very beautiful. It's a bit generic, like it's not as haughty as high elf's like personal mask would be. Um, and so it kind of indicates to you like this is either an Elfir who doesn't care, or this is a drow who wears a mask. And the mask is kind of it's made to be very severe. It's beautiful, but it is harsh. And they are wearing like dark colors. They're a stark contrast to the kind of vibrant chaos of the rest of the Swan's residence. Um, and they walk in, and they're talking to someone next to them who kind of is like nodding along, and like then quickly like turns around and leaves again. And they turn and they look at you all. Yes, Alvi.
As they're walking in and distracted, can I close my eyes
Yeah, you can.
and
Yeah.
disappear?
Yep. So you're standing kind of
Oh, I want to
near.
like
Yeah.
push myself back a little bit and stuff,
Mhm.
but just kind of like lean against the wall, close my eyes,
Poof.
and just listen.
Uh,
Just like I'm not here. It's
Yep.
fine.
Alvi is once again invisible. And yeah, this and then this person kind of with the mask like looks between Din and Chu, and back to Din, and kind of like kind of taps his fingers together and like walks over and is like, unfamiliar faces, not what I'm used to. Can I help you?
Chu looks at Din for a moment, and prepares a spell called Disharmony. You turn your enemies against each other with whispered curses, make a deceive plus occult roll, and pick a target that can see and hear you. On a successful roll, on success, they will immediately inflict stress on their nearest ally equal to whatever weapon they're holding. If any believe them to be an enemy, if they don't have an ally nearby, the spell doesn't have any effect on them. My question is, would it be like super obvious that I'm casting this, or could I just like whisper to like a nearby party goer and then they like whack their friend and start a fight?
I think that
I
you
thought
would.
you were using it on him. And I
No,
was
no,
just
no,
like,
no, no,
oh
no.
shit. Okay.
I thought you were using it on him too.
I wanted to make a distraction.
I would let you roll a sneak roll to try to hide that you are casting this spell, but I do think that like doing occult magic involves more than just like thinking about it.
Okay, then I wouldn't do that. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'd like
Just kind of
have it
have
ready
it
as like a
ready.
backup, you
Okay.
know, yeah, to like make a distraction.
Yep. Okay. He's still kind of looking expectantly between you, the two of you.
We were sent by we were let in by the door person at the front. This is Din. They'll take it on from here. Here you go, Din. Go ahead, please. All right. Chu is loving every second of this. This is her.
Okay.
This is her unleashing, her relaxing after her performance. This is like her vacation mode. Just
Okay, so I am going to remove my citizen's mask and
Okay.
put on Mask of the Lover. And so what this is you wear an exquisitely beautiful mask gifted only to those who carry themselves with the utmost grace and poise, +2 reputation. Once per session, if you so choose, an NPC falls for you. Tell the GM who. So Crofer is going to fall in love with me.
Okay.
I like standing in front of him and you're just like, 1 moment.
1 minute, please.
You love me now.
oh, this is so
Okay.
good.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Crofer is
Perfect.
now in love with you.
Now Crofer's like blushing and is like, "Oh my gosh." I mean, I didn't recognize your faces, but I totally should have.
Okay. I think the first and most immediate effect of this is you see Crofer's attention, which has been kind of leaning towards Chew with like you can't see his face, but has been kind of on Chew in a way that is possibly uncomfortable, in like that she's recognizable, even though she's like it's kind of confusing to him still. His attention is now drawn much more directly onto Din, and he kind of actually like takes a little bit of a step back as he kind of regards you once again with this mask on now, and kind of looks around like the room and is just like, did it get kind of warm in here? Hi, was it Din? Hi, Din. And holds his hand out to shake. Crofer, at your service.
You're friends of a friend here for the party?
Oh, who brought you in? Just so I can remember to thank them later.
This is gonna be so difficult for me.
You don't want to flirt with me? That was at least to Sarah, not.
Do you know me?
Sarah, what I know is that when you go hard, you go hard. So
Exactly. So I like you. That's not what she's gonna do.
Right.
Man, okay. I'm the worst person to do this.
We should go back to Tyler
I
and Sam and
live
give
for
Sarah
this.
some time to think. Time to play it.
If that's a possibility, that would be great.
Okay, let's cut. Let's cut to Anders and Eddic. Anders and Eddic, you have just wrapped up your
Sarah.
conversation. I believe that at the end of the conversation, Callisto actually got up and left. Said like essentially turned to EO and said, handle the rest. Make sure they get the list of things that they need. So Callisto exits, which will be a fun complication to throw into things for Din, Chu, and Alvi, but yeah,
Alvy's invisible, whatever.
Alvy's invisible. This is true. Yeah, and so now Edic and Anders, you are left with just EO in this kind of side room, and Callisto has just left.
Well, all right then. Well, EO, it was see you again. And Sturge, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling lucky. I'm gonna head off to the mermaid. So yeah, I'll EO, just want to let you know, I'm gonna make
Just
sure
very,
that this all gets taken care of. Sorry, you were saying something?
I was just going to say it's very much like you to spend what you immediately just got. It's very apropos.
I could double my money real quick. Don't be my conscience. I don't have one.
Very well.
Ah, all right. EO should we drop by when 2 days? Do you need to see us? You know, as for like a midday report? What's the
It's not kindergarten, hun.
what's the protocol?
She says that to you. um, Listen, it's we, you know, 2 days should be sufficient for the business you have to attend to. If you finish before then, come back before then. Otherwise, report back in 2 days, and we'll see where things go. And you can tell me how your luck at the mermaid is.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm off, and I just get up very nonchalantly, and uh, as we were facing the door, right? So I would have seen the the party kind of enter my view as we
Um,
were kind of wrapping the conversation.
yeah, I think it's possible. I think you were pretty engrossed in your conversation,
Mhm.
so why don't you roll me a d10 luck die? You
Right.
both can if you want.
Sure.
I don't know, Sam,
Yeah,
if you want to
I'll
say
give you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think it'll be a little harder for Edic because you were really involved in like specifically looking at the sulfur that was given to you, so you were pretty wrapped up in that. So you'll have
Mhm.
to roll pretty good.
Okay. Well, I
Uh,
didn't.
Sure.
yeah, I think both of you were just a little too wrapped up in
Both.
like the high stakes of like making this
Yep.
conversation happen correctly, that you didn't actually see
Mhm.
Din, Chu, or Alvi walk in. Although I'd say like right around now you start to hear some voices from outside, one of which sounds absolutely like
Sure.
Din. So you might get tipped off that way.
Mhm. Sure. Sure.
I'm
Yeah. So I'm just gonna.
You started. Please finish.
I was just gonna see what you were gonna do. So please you go.
I absolutely. I mean, I've been, your tail this whole time, so like, I will absolutely continue being, your shadow. But assuming you are planning on walking out, the moment we're out of earshot of Io and of Callisto,
Mhm.
Sturge, is Sturge, sacre bleu! What, what, what kind of name? You give me the name Sturge. Yeah, you're fine. Sten Sturge, there's a ring to it. I could see it working out, but oh, goodness gracious.
Are you all just like you're just leaving, right?
Wait, so
Yeah.
You just
oh,
left,
we're
blew
just
past, yeah,
we're straight.
ignored Din.
Yep. Yep.
Just okay, yep.
Yeah, I'm like I'm gonna look at them out of my peripheral. I don't
Not
want to
me.
look directly at any
Yeah,
of
you
them.
don't see
Well,
Alvi
yes,
anywhere.
I know you're invisible. Um, yeah, like I don't want to give anyone in this room the perception that I know or give a shit about
Yes.
anything that's happening. So yeah, we're just going right out. to be, I guess, beyond the outer gates. And yeah, so I'm sorry. Do you want me to apologize for thinking of a wonderful name for you on the spot? You, who, I'll remind you, you wanted to come along with me. You could have come up with your own name, but no,
Well,
and again,
you,
I'll be honest. I didn't give you much of a chance to like introduce yourself, but you know what? You're right. You're right.
oh, well, you did take the liberty from me. You introduced me to Io, and I just had to. You know how hard it was for me to just roll with this. So, oh my goodness!
So I panicked a little bit. Do you know the world of crime? Do you know the seedy underbelly of Spire? Like I know you got some of the drugs going on, but like, have you ever, used sulfur? You ever used any of the, you ever had corpse fruit? Or it's good shit, but like
I have experience with several illegal substances. I
you're sounding like a narc.
this is not of my own volition. This is merely my I don't know how you say handicap predisposition. It's very very hard for me. But I constantly generate sulfur all the time. It would be irresponsible of me not to have experienced its blisses, its highs and its lows.
So you know where you're going to be taking the drugs then.
Oh, I have this covered. This is no problem.
All right, just if you need
I mean,
hands.
I assume, if we were to be working together, this could be good. But if I had to go it alone, this is also no problem.
Have y'all just been walking down the path to exit the estate essentially while you're having this
Well,
conversation?
Yes.
that's what I
Yeah.
was planning on doing. I
Yeah.
just kind of
Okay. I
immediately
just wanted
wanted
to make sure
take.
that like that's where you all kind of in your brains were. As you're
Mm,
as
mhm.
this kind of like last comment from Edic, you hear someone behind you yell, "Up, Sten!" And if you turn, it's Io, and she's
Yes.
chased you down. And she hands over a piece of paper. And when you take it and you look at it, you see that it is a list of things from New Heaven, from the morticians that would be needed.
Oh shit! I
As she,
forgot the list.
yeah, well, she did too. To be fair, and she kind of as she hands it over to you, she kind of like pats your hand and says, it would have been a great excuse for you to come back sooner, but at least we didn't forget, huh?
Oh, you caught me red-handed. Without
Just
it,
empty-handed.
now you gave it to me, and empty-handed. There you go. That's a much better. Thank you. Yeah. So great. This all looks like stuff that my contact can definitely get a hold of. So we'll get that done.
Uh, will you roll one more luck roll for me?
Sure.
Okay,
5.
that's fine.
Great.
Yeah, and she gives kind of nods, and she's like, okay, well, I've got business to attend to. So, we'll see you in a day or two. Good luck, like I said, at the mermaid. Spend it all in
Thanks.
one place if you want. I don't care. It's not my money anymore.
I could always use more money, if you're, just throwing it out.
She's like, make yourself useful. We'll talk.
All right. And then I just, grab Sturge and drag us a little further down the road.
Okay, and she turns around and goes back up the house, or the walk to the house.
Sure. What's the over-under? She heard any of that?
Oh, no, 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 not possible. Not possible.
And he's so sure. He's just like, no.
Well, I think my help with anything. You say the word. You just make it apparent that I'm needed above anybody else. All right?
Sorry, you said that you are needed.
I'm needed above anybody else.
Okay.
I mean, Bartol, just if it comes down to the two of us, I want you to toss your hat. Toss my hat in the ring. Yeah, Stan will get it done. Like I said, I'll fucking kill a guy if you want me to. Just
I have no doubts of this, Stan. But for now, I would like to talk pragmatically. See, assuming we're out of earshot of anyone. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you look around and you're pretty much to the gate. The same kind of security person who let you in is there, but you can kind of get out of the gate before you still, before you say anything else, so that you're out of earshot of that guard.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay, yeah, easy
If
enough.
that's cool.
Yep, you're already beyond walking back, kind of following by memory because last time Chu led you here, following by memory some of the paths. But as you get closer to the mermaid, then knows these paths much more um, fluently than the kind of affluent part of town. So the closer you get, the easier it is to make your way. Oh, is Sam gone?
Oh, I thought he was just really intense.
He's
think you,
just in it.
yeah, no,
Very
I
good.
think
He's
he
just
froze
like-
up.
Yeah.
This is a dramatic pause, okay?
Yeah,
Wait for
really.
it to pay off and it'll be
Yeah.
just
Just
magnificent.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he's
We
left.
want to.
Really
Oh, there
big.
you go. This is your chance.
Am I back yet? It
Your
says I'm back.
voices. There you go. Hello, you're
Yes, I'm
back.
back now. Okay, good. Well, it happened once and it's been for like a while, so maybe it's better. Who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely better.
Yes. So, then you may not know this about me, but I have connections to the smuggling networks of the Vermission, and I was thinking that if the end result of this was that the drugs could not have any sort of connection back to this one, that I have resources. I could dilute the sulfur. I could, make it slightly less pure. I could use my resources and uh, make it undetectable, so to speak. Um, but I also recognize it's the purest of sulfur. There's a very high market price, and this does not go past me. I recognize this. So perhaps I split it. I dilute most. I keep some of the pure substance for my reserves, and then we go about certain avenues to leave a little bit here, a little bit there, with this smuggler, with this cartel, with this all these people who are currently under the influence.
So I don't want to come across as one of those, snobby drug connoisseurs, but I worry about cutting sulfur because Drek's a bit more of a problem. People can run into a bit more of problems with Drek. So I wonder about the morality of cutting it. It's probably
To be
best to
to
sell
be
it.
to be precise, I would not turn it into a Drek. It would still be sulfur, just less pristine. It would
Mhm.
not. It would not be discernible that this was once super pure. It was always imperfect. This makes sense to me, no?
As long as it's still sulfur by the time you're done with it, just don't get, I know you're an artist. Just, keep the artwork in the sulfur to a minimum.
Of naturally. I would. Yes, I would. It would maintain sulfur status. Um. And I think at that, Edic wants to at this point head to his home to kind of divvy it up. Like it would be one
Mhm.
third pure, but would then stay with him, and then 2/3 he would dilute to various different levels of purity. Um, he would. My thinking was, um, whoever my personal connections were within the smuggling operations, I would offer them the highest purity versions, and then as I become less and less sure about who I'm handing the sulfur off to or selling it to, it would become less and less pure, so that way there would be no chance of it getting traced back to the swan or to me.
Okay. I will have you roll to cut the sulfur um and kind of create a product that kind of gets this like decreasing quality. So let's roll. You can roll fix for the skill, and then occult would be your domain because sulfur is still occult. Or crime, I suppose.
Um, Sten as climb. So, sorry, I didn't need to do the accent for that. Sten has crime. So,
Sten?
uh, you
Sten?
know,
Edic? Oh, Sten is Sten with you. I
yes.
thought
So he said
S-
that he would
Wait,
help.
are you?
He said he was
Oh, you
going to
want me to
gamble,
help
I
you?
thought.
Well,
Yeah, I was good.
you don't need to. I was just thinking, if you were with me, that could happen.
Sten's gonna
But
go right to the place where he can gamble all his fucking money. So
okay, that's fine. Yeah, by all means.
I don't need to speak for him.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going right back to just start cutting it, which by all means, like a responsible person probably should, given that we only have 2 days, um, Sten is probably gonna hang around the mermaid for a bit.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, I can handle that on my own. I do have like less pure sulfur from just demonic activity around. It's not
Mhm.
Drek, so I figured it was just going to be a like
Kind of a
syringe
mixing
into a
and
syringe,
mhm,
Yeah.
kind of mixing along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Elise, is it possible that I could have given him like some like quick tips to like cutting drugs before he left, or is that?
Sten's quick
Um,
tips to cutting drugs.
um, roll me one more luck dice. See how
Sure.
good your quick tips are here.
For the record, I do have I don't know what that ends up being. It was an 8.
It's
That's
an
not bad.
8. Yeah, I think with an
As an
8,
eight, yeah.
yeah, I think the the help that you get is from Sten here is kind of like um I think that you already know a fair amount about like sulfur, and the help that you get is kind of the like what would have to happen to kind of cut it in a way that doesn't that like hides trace evidence. And with that, yeah, I think that you can roll like essentially with a mastery, an extra d10. Um,
Um so we have fix, we have occult. This is going to be like low society, right? But I don't have low
no, occult
society.
is your domain.
Oh, okay. So okay. And then I get a mastery, but I have a knack, which is occult magic in dealing with demons.
Well, the
I
max
guess
you can do is
technically.
4. So if you're at 4, then you're at 4.
But am I at 4? I have my base. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm at 4. Um,
Yep.
oh crap. Sorry, I'm not using my regular mouse right now. I'm using a trackball mouse, which I haven't had to do in like 5
Oh.
years. So like navigating menus isn't super easy
Like
right
the
now.
kind with the ball that you actually move the ball for the.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those are so weird.
I like it for certain things, but like right now, trying to navigate these menus for the first time ever is not easy. All right, so
Yeah.
here's 4d10 coming your way.
Okay.
Did
The
any of them
highest,
pass?
yes, the highest we
Nice.
got is 8, which is
8.
no
Yep.
stress. So
Yay.
success with no stress. And yeah, you get your piles, your third of kind of pure stuff that you set aside. And that's going, you said, to your own contacts, right?
Well, that is my personal stash for future
Okay. That goes, yeah.
use.
And then you start cutting and you get these kind of various levels kind of. Yeah, you it doesn't take too long. You sit down and kind of think about all the ways that you could do this to kind of get like good quality but not like the kind of thing that would, and like the goal here is really to make it like not traceable in any way. And of course some of that has to do with how you go about distributing it, but some of it is also how you go about cutting it, because if there's enough kind of evidence of like linking these things. And as you kind of like work with that, you kind of pull from multiple sources of like your own demonic activities and things, and you cut this down. Yeah, and you kind of have like multiple grades of quality, not just 2 or 3 grades of quality now, but actually like several that kind of get this kind of nice decrease with the influx of more of your own supply of sulfur and whatever else you might use to kind of do that work. You also do have more total quantity that you're trying to move, because you've added a bunch of other sulfur into the mix, right? And so instead
Yeah.
of 30 total doses, right, you've put 10 away, but the 20 that you had is now kind of up into like 30 again because you've added a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. So you do still have a pretty significant amount to move. But yeah, you have successfully
Okay.
cut your sulfur.
So if we want to do this little side mission now, I mean, I'm happy to not like role play this. I'm happy to just kind of roll for like how this like
Yeah,
goes
like
out.
tracking down.
Yeah. So like the kind of avenues that I wanted to pursue, and that can maybe factor into how these roles go.
Hmm.
So I was going to I have my own personal contacts, and then there was going to be kind of like tracking down of, just general smuggling operations.
Hmm.
Um and then finally going to kind of wherever like drug dens are where people are just constantly using them, and then just kind of discreetly planting it without really expecting to get paid for that. So like maybe
Okay.
I would seek payment for those first couple
Hmm.
options, but
Hmm.
then not so much for the
Okay.
latter.
Yeah, so let's start with a roll for your personal contact. So this will be um pursue to find them. Well, that doesn't make any sense. You know where they are. I guess honestly, like with your personal contacts, like I think you don't have to do very much to sell this. So I think we can kind of skip that roll because it doesn't, you're not like, they know you, right? You're not trying to
Yeah.
convince them you're trustworthy or something. They already think you are. Um,
Do we want to
I
well, why
think,
don't we do a roll to see how much money I make off of it?
well, what I was gonna say is, let's roll. You can choose between deceive or sneak, and crime or low society. Um,
All things I don't have.
okay. Um, so you get your base D10. Um, and yeah, let's. Which one are you going to choose, deceive or sneak? Just tell me which one you want to kind of roll in.
Oh God. Well, again, I don't have either deceive or sneak,
Yeah,
but
but it might
let's
change
do
what
sneak.
happens.
That feels more
Okay.
appropriate, I
All right.
guess.
Yeah, go ahead and roll sneak, and it will just be your 1d10.
Great. Great. This is awesome.
Okay,
Oh.
that's a 3. Okay.
Oh.
So you that is a failure. So what it's not that you fail to distribute or get money, right? They do take it and they do are kind of happy to kind of see this. What happens is one of your contacts is kind of surprised by the quality of this stuff, and you're going to take stress. Decide what how much. Uh, yes. Rolling a d3. Stress. It's a 1 because I always fucking roll 1s on stress when I'm rolling on a d3.
That's good.
Unless somebody else took like a 3 though from me the other day, and that was a lot. But anyway,
That
yeah,
was me.
okay. You take 1 stress to shadow.
Yes, I have a resistance,
Okay,
so
you have
we're
a
good.
resistance. Yeah, and they're just kind of like asking after, like, where did you even get this? This is like, like holy shit. Like I've only ever seen
Uh,
this like from one other source, and like that person wouldn't tell me anything. Like, even cut a little bit. This is still kind of raising eyebrows from people that trust you. Is
You
kind
know,
of
a true artist never tells his secrets.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, let's go ahead. I know we need to take a break real quick in a second here. So, um let's do your second roll and then we'll take our break. So, for the kind of like next level, go ahead and roll pursue to find folks and crime or low society. Are these like
Well,
again
that's 2d10.
at least
Man, it
two?
probably would have helped to have Sten around, but oh well, it's fine. Okay,
Ben's got a gambling
let's do
problem.
this.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever been so real as Sten
Sten's
being
got
He
a
like,
went to literal jail for it.
yeah.
So
Okay, did that roll an actual 8?
It rolled an actual 8. This is a full
Okay, because it
success.
was stuck on it on
I
like a
know, and it looked like
2.
a 2.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you
Um,
track down several people, and kind of distribute multiple places, multiple folks, people that you're trying not to get overlap of circle on, and do a pretty good job of kind of moving the rest of the majority of this kind of cut stuff out. The further you get from your own networks, the less pure that it gets, just like you described. And yeah, you can go ahead and for the money that you're making off of both of these, since you're selling about 2/3 of, well, you're selling about 1/3 of what was given to you, right? Um,
well, I wasn't gonna. Yes, I'm selling 1/3, and then another
you're
third I
keeping
was
a
just
third,
gonna be
and yep.
depositing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so with this, you can go ahead and you can take an additional, say, 2 resistances to silver to like +2 on silver. Y'all
Okay.
are like rolling in money right now.
Yeah.
um,
So what I would like to say, somewhat retroactively, with that first roll that didn't go so hot because I only had the 1d10, do I get the sense off of that that could in any way come back to bite me or the swan in the butt? Because if so, I would very much like to use my ability to re-roll that.
um,
I forgot I could do that.
So the way that it's kind of a weird mechanic, right? But you didn't take fallout from it. So you have that stress against you as in like, well, and you don't really even because you have resistance, right? And so basically like in the system of the game, that means like since you didn't take fallout from that, you're not going to take fallout from
A
that
narrative
action, a
consequence.
narrative consequence too. But if you continue to take more and more and more shadow stress or reputation stress, right, then that's when that starts to, like, you've built it up and now people are piecing together, is kind of the idea of having like accumulated stress on this. So I would say
Okay.
no, you don't necessarily, you feel like you kind of dodged a bullet on it, that like if they had asked any more questions, but because you kind of have a good reputation with them, right, it kind of deflected some of the worst consequences.
And then last roll.
Yeah, so your last roll is going to be sneak, which I don't think you have, and low society or crime, which again I don't think you have those.
Nope.
But you are just kind of trying to distribute this stuff. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
And of course this could not be an occult domain. No.
No.
Okay. I had to try. All right. Well, let's see where this goes. Okay, I don't need to re-roll it.
Hey, it's a 9. Very nicely done. That could have been real bad. That was going to be a much higher stress fallout if or stress like accumulation if that, well, potential. My dog.
Hi, Reiko.
She's really excited about she's really excited about something. Okay. Yeah. So you successfully kind of just, go places where people who use are and kind of distribute with no intention to get back. And with that, let's take our break because I know we've been a little past our usual time for breaks. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We'll check in with Sten over at the Mermaid, see, and then come back to Din and Crow, the budding romance that you're all waiting, dying to know what happens up at the Swan's estate. Anything else? Is that it? Okay.
Thank
10
you all for
minutes.
bearing with me on this like little side journey.
So see you back
Drugs.
at around 8:37, 10:37, and we're going to break. Thanks, everyone. Hello, everybody. We're back. We were closer to being on time than it looks. All right. We are going to pick up with Sten at the Mermaid, compulsively gambling away the money that was made. I can't remember who did Callisto hand the bag of money to Sten?
Yes.
Ooh,
Good.
bad choice.
He handed it to Sten, but then you gave both of us a certain amount of silver resistances from it.
Okay.
So I would
Kind
assume
of
that that
split it
would
up a
mean that
little
we
bit.
had to divide it up.
You had divided it up. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So okay, we're gonna pop in with Sten over at the Mermaid, and then we'll cut back to the um the Swan estate and see how things are going there. So Sten, you make your way to the kind of most infamous slash famous of gambling halls in Spire. Both a uh, just absolute, what's the word, like hub of activity for gambling, for locals, for gamblers who come here on vacation, and as well as people who live near here and just always are gambling. There's lots of other casinos in the Silver Quarter, but the Mermaid is kind of the one that stands out as like, you can find all types here. This is it's just, like I said, kind of this centralized hub of like the thrill of gambling for folks. Um, Absent a lot of the other kind of, sometimes, like this casino or that casino has like a reputation for being so fancy or so like, trashy. And this one is just kind of like everybody loves the Mermaid. And the other kind of significant thing to know about the Mermaid is that, yes, it has never once successfully, has a thief escaped with money or other goods from the Mermaid. The Mermaid has never been stolen from. Is just kind of a fun
It's
little Spire fact. But
it's also it's also technically a temple, right? To Stolz, like the
yes,
luck
well,
god.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think, is it a full temple, or is it just kind of
Or it's
like, regardless,
no,
it's definitely
it's not
connected
technically
to.
a temple, but it's like yeah,
Yes.
it's like if you want to worship Stolz, you go to the mermaid.
Yes. The
Not
Mermaid
not
is,
not that it's a temple, but yeah.
yes. Um yeah, absolutely. Yes, and yes, under the protection of Stoles is how the handbook kind of
Right.
phrases it. Okay, so yeah, you're at the Mermaid, and what is Sten's heart telling him, or should I say maybe his head? What's the narrative Sten is telling himself about how this day is going to go at the Mermaid as you step into it?
Well, Stan, every time he steps in the mermaid, uh, always just goes up immediately, gets his two drinks, as it's a two-drink minimum,
Mm.
and then is going to, as he does every time he's there, contemplate, you know, becoming or offering up something to become a luck priest, which would involve gambling away something extremely important to yourself, which could be anything from like a limb, a sense, whatever, and just gamble that up, and whatever happens, happens. The Anders in him normally doesn't let that fly. Um, but yeah, he's feeling pretty lucky today. So like highest risk game of chance that he can find right now.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. So yes, then you kind of, you look around, you find a table, feeling flush with the swan's money in your pocket. Find a table
Oh,
where we've got some kind of fancy folk. There's even an Alfir here, and some of their entourage at this table. It's not necessarily like a super high buy-in, like you don't need tons and tons of money to play at this table, but
Mhm.
it's a dice game. And as you kind of approach, you're invited in. There's space at the table, and the bets on the table are already pretty high. And so when the next round starts, if you want to buy in, you kind of have to put about, we'll say, one of those silver resistances worth of money in. Um,
Sure.
so yeah, so I assume you slide that on in.
I certainly will. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and let's go ahead. You can roll. Let's let's roll a D10. Do luck. Is there any interest on Sten's side of additional to your money buy-in for the table itself, doing any type of more private between you and the goddess of luck bargaining here?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sten is gonna just, offer up a whatever you want to take. You just dealer's dealer's choice.
Interesting. Okay. You you hear in clearly, like, not through your ears but in your head, kind of a low, like, chuckling noise that sounds almost like the sound of coins clinking against each other in a cup. If you were like to rattle like but it's definitely like a laugh at this, and kind of in a similarly, like, strangely, like, money based, like, voice. Like, there's not, it's hard to describe, right? Because we
Mhm.
can't make those noises with our vocal cords, but it's as if,
Mhm.
like, if money rattling in a cup could talk, it would be talking. And it says, like, uh those stakes are high. Roll your dice. And you are the at the same time that the voice in your head kind of says roll your dice, the kind of table, it's not like a dealer because it's a dice table. So, like, what would the person, I don't go to casinos often, what's the person who kind of like watches over a table of dice games called? um the casino employee at this
Like a
table.
pit boss kind of thing who looks around it.
Now, just like the person who's like kind of sitting there, like, calling like what is rolled and like who's won and like where the bets go and stuff,
A
like,
dealer, I think. I thought that I don't know. That's what I've always called them.
I guess, like,
To be fair, I
I thought
don't
like
usually play games that I don't interact with the person,
Galway
so
says croupier. Is that how you
there you
say that?
go.
We'll take your word for it, Galway. And yeah, they look at you, and they're wearing a mask. This is a casino standard mask for all casino employees, and it is a mermaid mask. Like, it has scales and kind of blues and greens, purples, depending on which table you're at, different colors. And this person looks at you and says, time to roll, sir. And you are invited to roll, and you will roll. We're going to roll 3d10.
Okay.
So to win at
Croupier.
this,
Sorry.
with the stakes at the table,
Oh
uh,
no.
Tyler rolled a 3, a
Oh
2, and a
boy.
2.
Oh,
A 3, a 2, and a 2.
Somebody has
Croupier.
lost all
Oh,
their
thank
money
you, Galway.
and had their
Um,
knees broken.
Okay. Yeah, so you you let's see. I'm going to, I guess I should probably show the map for this so that people can see the dice rolls, cuz might be interested in actually seeing these dice. Okay. So Tyler rolled a 2, a 3, and a 2. We have, I'm going to go ahead and roll um for the person sitting to
are these?
your
Damn
left.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
So it
got a
doesn't,
one in there.
yeah, they got a one in there.
Yeah.
As the rolls kind of go around the table, at the end of it, the croupier,
So French.
announces the winner of the round of the person to your left, and the money is kind of slid to that person's. But the table, like the round, isn't over, right? There's stages to the game, so
Oh, sure.
the first kind of stage has gone to this person. The next buy-in, that person gets to kind of choose the next buy-in and slides forward what would be the essentially 2 silver resistances.
Yep.
Do you
I'm yeah.
go in?
I'll call. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll your 3d10.
Sure.
A 2, a 7, and a
Jesus.
2.
Why so many twos?
I'm nothing if not consistent.
Okay. A 2, a 1, and a
God
9
damn it.
from next to you. And we're gonna go ahead and roll for a third person at the table this time, because last time that other person like just. Yeah, so the third person at the table is kind of announced to be the winner, and the money slides to that person, who then gets to decide again the bet going in, and puts forward 2 resistances again.
So can
This would
I have 1 resistance left after that.
Mhm.
Can I take
Stress.
1 off and then take a stress?
Yep, which puts you at 2 total stress. So I'm just gonna go ahead and roll fallout for that. It would have to be a 1. It is not. It's a 2, so you did not take fallout from making that bet.
So many
And
twos.
all right. The bets go around. Everybody slides their money in. Go ahead and roll your last round of d10s. A 3, an 8, and a 3.
You're moving up in the world.
Just
From
barely.
Tyler. We got a 1, a 5, and a 4. We have the third person at the table as well.
Damn
1, a
it.
7, and a 9. Okay,
That's
so
that's fair.
You handily beat one of them.
Yep. The money gets slid to the third person. The round is considered the full round at the table is considered over. And you can stay at the table or you can leave.
This is how this character is gonna die, is just from fucking gambling.
Oh God. I'm gonna stay.
You're gonna stay at the
I'm gonna
table.
stay
Okay.
for 1 more round.
So the croupier
Yes.
Take
Go
so
one
much
more round.
stress.
is going to
Kind of wish Eddick
I'm
was
gonna
here
win
now, 'cause
one.
he could just re-roll if he did poorly.
Okay, the third person at the table is invited to place the first bet and slides forth one amount of 1 silver stress.
Good. Starting small. I like it. All
You-
right, so
you
we'll
match.
Yep.
Okay, so that just another stress, right?
So, yep, I'm gonna match.
Roll the fallout. There it is.
Yep. Oh
The
wait.
6, you're safe.
Question.
Yeah.
Great question.
Mhm.
This would have been from before. Did I gain an advantage by posing as someone I'm not earlier with Sten?
You had already taken didn't you already take stress off for that? Particular fall or called
That would have been with
at the concert.
EO at the concert, yeah.
We don't want Tyler to lose 2 characters.
Just remember it's not my choices.
No, it's my choices. I recognize that.
So here's my reasoning. The advantage that you gained was EO's trust. And it was EO's trust that got you
So
in the
it wouldn't
door, and it was
stack.
Callisto wasn't necessarily
Yep.
sold on
Yep.
you because of Sten. he was sold on you because of EO.
Sure.
So I don't think so.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just
And
wanted to
Eder.
ask.
Okay.
That's fine.
So
is
we'll have them roll their d10s first so you can see what you're
Yeah, why don't I go last this time?
up against. 7, a 4, and a 2. You go ahead and roll.
All right. Okay. God damn it!
And the third person at the table. Okay, so the
Just
first person
barely.
takes the money and then slides forward 2 more silver stress worth of money.
So I'm gonna turn. Who looks like they have the most money between the two people
Like in
here?
front of them or in general? Like who has the most money sitting in front of them for betting, or who is the richest person at the table?
I guess richest person at the table.
You get the sense that the person who is currently controlling the betting, the person 3, will say, if you're 1, the person to your left is 2, then the third
Okay.
person, right?
Sure. So I'm just gonna lean over to them, real quick. Hey, so quick question. You seem like you've got a lot of money on you. I got a kid. I'm really trying to put some food on the table. I come here, every day. After I'm done work, and it's just, I could really use. Could you spot me just a little bit of money? Um, I would really appreciate it. I'd be in your debt. Good citizen.
Roll deceive and high society.
Sure.
And you
Great. I
hear
have both.
okay, you hear that the rattling cup of coins laughter in your head again, and you can roll an extra d10.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, great. So that'll be 4. Watch them all be ones. God
A
damn it!
6.
Why would you say that, Tyler?
Oh my god, a 6.
Because I don't believe in me.
Okay, so the 6 means that it's a success, but you take stress. So
Take stress to avoid stress.
it takes stress to avoid stress. So they kind of look you over, and as they kind of look you over, they kind of like snort laughter at the lack of money in front of you, and looking at their own pile of coins. They just kind of like roll their eyes, and they spot you for this round, so you don't have to
Oh,
you don't have to put in your 2 silver stress worth of money for this.
great.
But you are going to take your fallout, or not your fallout,
Fallout
sorry,
or
your
stress?
stress. Yes, stress from the unsuccessful.
Where's it going?
Um,
Is it?
this is, oh god, I rolled a 3. It's only you. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's only me.
So
only
you
It's fine.
avoided
It's
2 stress to take 3 stress? That was your
That's-
solution?
Well, this is. You know what? Death
We're
by
gonna,
gambling is.
Hey, he might be taking those and things he has
against
resistances
resistances.
in.
Let's put those against
Yeah,
reputation.
let's find out. Perfect. I have 2 resistance to reputation.
So you take
'cause,
1 stress from this.
reasons. I'll take 1. So we're at 4. Not
Okay.
quite a moderate fallout yet.
So a
And
3 or
hopefully we won't
lower,
get there.
a 3 or below would be fallout on this. It's a 6, so you're okay.
Oh,
Great.
Who knew?
Great.
It's always an adventure when we.
But it's going to keep building up until it becomes
Oh
moderate.
yeah, it's
And
we're-
then
we're doing
but
great.
what
Well, hey,
advantage does he
I
get
win.
from this? Begging the dealer.
no, the
Beg
person
the
playing
dealer.
next to him.
The person playing next to you.
I thought he was begging the dealer.
And they
Whoops,
will
okay.
roll
Spotted me.
3
Yeah, he just asked for a spot.
their dice. Okay, you've got a chance here.
Good. I got a real chance. Oh boy.
Go ahead and roll your 3d10.
Okay.
Yes!
Oh, okay.
If I
Mine's
lose,
7 to 6.
I will be so upset.
Come on.
All right,
Please
here's
no
the last
tens.
roll.
Please no tens. Yes! Yes!
Okay, the
Ava, no.
the the round was won. You are given 6 2, 2, and 2, so 6 total like resistances worth. So how many
Oh,
you can erase the
perfect.
stress that you have towards silver
Yep.
and any so what
So
does
that'll
that put
put me
you
up to 4. 4 resistances then.
And where did we
So
start,
how many
Tyler?
stress do you have right now? Like actual stress. Like
stress, I only have 2 stress right
okay, so we erased 2 of your total
So
stress.
wow, winning that actually really helped you.
now. Look at that. This
Look
is
at
why
that.
we gamble. We gamble to break even.
All right, there is one more round, and you are
Jesus.
expected to set the bet for this round.
Oh no.
And you hear that
Oh, Tyler.
instead of the sound of coins in the cup in your head, you just hear the sound of like
Yeah.
a dice cup just rolling in your head on this one. I love the poeticism of it being the last roll.
I don't want to let
Galway says no.
I don't want to let souls down. I really don't.
Christ.
Gosh, you know what? I'm
Life
gonna hope
lessons with
somebody
Galway.
chickens out here. I'm gonna put 4.
I knew you were gonna fucking do it.
Okay. I'm gonna see. I'm just essentially gonna kind of flip a coin, odds or evens. For the person to your left, we'll say odds they join, evens they leave.
Sure.
It's evens they leave. And the
Great.
person, the person who spotted you the money, kind of looks over at you
Yep.
and just like laughs and shakes their head, and slides 4 in.
Asshole.
So now, what that puts you at 1 more? No, that's all of your resistances marked, right?
That's all my resistances right now.
Okay,
Yep.
but
Yep.
you don't have any extra stress from putting in 4.
Don't. No.
Okay. Yeah, and you get to roll first. So roll your 3d10.
Great.
Y'all look at the cat.
Yes!
Shit.
Oh, don't cheer yet.
Yes!
Oh,
Okay.
Does that mean you have 8 resistances now?
Yeah, you do get
well, it maxes out
4.
at 5, but
Yeah. So they slide you all 8. And the person sitting there that you've just won against looks at you and just kind of like shakes their head again and is like, good luck with that kid getting through school. And yeah, so you have like what, +4 because you marked your 4 resistances to go in for this, right? So now you've erased those 4 again and you added 4 more. Is that right?
yes.
Okay. So you're sitting at
Yes.
+4 silver right now. Okay. And like when you threw when the results of the game were kind of determined, that rattling of dice kind of like stopped in your head. And I think we're going to leave that for next game to see what the results of that were. And we will hop over to, first of all, Cat Cam, very precious. Thank you for this
Oh, thank
blessing.
you. Yes.
So cute.
And I love
I
that.
also just want to say that I really appreciate Sam's enthusiasm for all of the dice rolls too. It helped me feel
Sam,
really
thank you
pumped.
very much.
And I like that you
it was
like
great.
you genuinely rolled from like 1s to a 10. Like you started so low and it was just like
Yep.
gradual, like better. Like that's not how gambling is supposed to go. But that was like storybook. Like that was
It was very good.
Justice.
I was very interested to see how that would all pan out. Okay, so back to Din, Alvi, and Chu. You are talking to Crofer, and Crofer has just kind of asked who it was who sent you, who invited you in to the household. Here, I'll switch this back. All this.
Chu is just gonna be like, "Oh, I'll go get us a drink. I seem to have misplaced mine. I'll leave you two alone for now."
And Alvi
So
is
he's
still
just gonna
just
walk up.
not here.
Yeah,
Not
Alfie's
here.
just sitting there.
Hopefully, Alvi never has to sneeze. All these flowers around. Okay.
Thankfully, with my bees,
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah,
good at holding in sneezes because they regularly crawl in and out of my nostrils. So like
yeah. I love the idea
like
that one of the bees like flies out of your nostrils and just appears out of nowhere, and Crofer's like, "What the? Who let
also
a
I'm
bee in?"
definitely ready to like be invisible, but also release the hive because I don't need to move to do it.
Invisibees.
So I'm absolutely ready to just stand there and just let bees pour from me if need be.
Yeah. So Crofer has just asked, yeah, Din, where did or who kind of sent you to the estate with the kind of flirty line of like, so I can thank them.
Oh, we just kind of came in with some revelers. I think his name was Steve.
Steve, which one? Am I right? So,
From across the room, Chu's gonna shout, "Uncle Steve!"
Crofer kind of like glances in your direction, but doesn't seem too interested in like following up on that. And it's just like, it's just I normally have a pretty solid sense of who everyone is who comes and goes from the estate. So, it's Din. Is that Dyn? And like you
Yeah.
see that he actually does like write this down, and like puts you
Whoops, shouldn't have given your real name. Sorry.
and glances again towards, it's Uncle Steve, and Chew and says, and your friend is
Stevette.
T-Vet. Oh my god.
It's a real common name in the family. That's why it's Uncle Steve and then Steve. It's a whole thing. Trust me, I've talked to my parents about it.
The record I did confirm with Elise before we started that Steve was a common name.
Did
It's
you
all
want like a martini or just like beer? I'll just get beer. Don't. It's cool. Don't worry. I'll be back later. Yeah, you guys do your thing.
so Din, and pretty much right as Crowfer says this, you see who you have not yet met, but a very scantily dressed, just in this very light, thin, mostly open robe, like silken robe kind of, drow man with these extremely sharp cheekbones to the point where you think that it's probably implants to make them look like this. Kind of gaunt cheeks, sharp chin, these implants over his eyes, with metal. You can see, as he kind of passes by and like the light kind of catches it. It's not just metal, but there's actually like engraving like flowers engraved into it, and then like removable pieces of jewelry that kind of go snap into it that look like buds or leaves that can kind of be changed out. And right now are buds and leaves like roses and things. And he walks out, and Crofer kind of glances at him. You, Din, and Alvi, I need you to roll resistance, resist an occult, I believe.
Resist and occult.
Yes, you can roll resist plus occult.
Let me check my thing real quick. I do have resist. I do not have occult.
Rachel, did you catch that you're rolling here?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Is that 1 or 2?
You have resist.
It's 1, right?
Yeah, it's 1.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's 2 because you actually took the resist skill, so you can
What
roll
is 2?
another. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay, so whatever
have
that is, and then I'll do one more.
That was a 4, and this is an 8, which is a success with no stress.
I have resist and occult, so I can roll 3.
Yes, you can roll 3. It's a critical success, which is wonderful. I guess like your eyes are closed, so it does have. Maybe you wouldn't have even really needed to roll, because I think it is upon like seeing, like actually seeing him, that this gets triggered. But we'll say Alvi is just like not having it. Was like no, nope, 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 nope. And
I'm just fully ostriching right now.
Yep. Yeah, Din, you like look over. This person, this man is captivating. And you are kind of drawn to like that like that aura of like just holds attention, right? Is kind of the swan's thing. But don't really take any, you don't take any damage or whatever, but you additionally like don't have that kind of like same like really intense draw. Probably also because Chew, you're kind of used to the idol thing. And as you kind of like turn your attention back to Crofer, you see Crofer has glanced over at Callisto, and then who you don't know necessarily is Callisto, but at this person, and then back to you pretty immediately. And you actually see from the corner of your eye that this stops Callisto dead in his tracks when Crofer like glances at him and then just uninterested back to you. And now Callisto actually full
Ooh,
like
it's going
stops
down.
and like turns to kind of like look at you and look at Crofer, and then just kind of like pauses with his head kind of cocked, to observe the interaction. And Crofer, kind of ignoring Callisto at the moment, is just like, so what is it I can do for you, Miss Din? You're like looking at your notes, like how to flirt.
And
One, smile. Two.
while Sarah thinks of something, I would like to maybe like position myself in like a nearby group that might be like quietly observing Callisto and be like, "Ooh, it's Callisto," where I can kind of make them fight each other. But if like a group of 2, right? Like another group of 2 if they're nearby or something like that. If I can.
Yeah, most people here are kind
Yeah.
of like this main like kind of atrium is kind of a like room where a lot of people come and go, but not a lot of people seem to stay. So there's one group that's kind of passing through, and when they see Callisto, it's not a group of 2, it's a group of like 3. But it's when they see him, they kind of stop, to kind of in that same like captivated way, right?
Yeah.
And you can kind of sidle up into their group. And they kind of stop to observe. They're not necessarily going to stay here for very long, but they do kind of stop to just like be in awe, similar to what you're kind of describing.
Also, Chu is like quietly judging him for like every single little fashion choice.
Mhm.
Just like, oh, God, like so
Meanwhile, the other people in this group are just like, "Oh my God, that robe looks divine on him. Like the way that it's slipping off his shoulder is just, ugh." And you're just like, "Oh God, so tacky." um,
gross.
yeah. So Crofer has asked what he can do for you.
Well, I came here with a particular aim, but I didn't expect to meet someone like you. I think my aims might be changing right here in the moment. I can't even keep the
That
accent
was
because
so
I'm just
good.
like,
um, at this, like
Ooh.
again, out of the corner of your eye, you see Callisto's eyebrows just shoot up, which is a very odd thing to look at with like all these metal implants and like the cheekbones. Like it makes him look very strange to have this like kind of shocked expression on his face. And Crofer kind of like chuckles, looks down. You can't see his face. Again, it's behind this very severe mask. So this kind of like, oh shucks reaction like looks so odd, or at odds with like this extremely severe mask. But he's kind of like, scuffing almost like, oh gosh. And he's like, well, surely a little business and pleasure could be in our future.
I'm an old-fashioned drow. I like to get to know someone first. I'd love to learn a little more about you.
Um, yeah, and as you say this, Io emerges, and she looks like well, let's see, I guess it would be um Anders and Eddic next. And Anders and Eddic emerge and they just walk past you. Yeah, Alvi has to, I guess Alvi wouldn't see them,
Right.
eyes are still closed.
Exactly. No idea what's happening.
Yeah,
Just like, oh, that was smooth.
and they just kind of leave. And Callisto is kind of still standing there observing. Chu, your group of people are kind of like, I guess it's probably, I think maybe we should go to the mermaid. I'm not sure I want to go swimming today. Like that's the level of conversation happening in your group. Um and yeah, back and Crowfer is like well maybe we could I of course respect the idea of getting to know each other. Maybe we could take this out for a brunch, just you and me, get to know each other a little. And Callisto kind of like clears his throat and is like, Crowfer, who is your charming friend here? Um, and Crowfer kind of
Uh-oh.
like looks over and is just like, oh, Callisto, this is Din. She came in with Steve. Has I believe some kind of business to and like you can kind of see him losing the thread of like realizing like something like do I even know why she's here? And Callisto is just kind of like um stands a little closer to Crowfer, not in like a weird, well, obviously in a weird way, but like not in like a possessive boyfriend way, I guess. Like I don't want to give you that impression. That's not what's happening here, but more of just like in a like or do I need to like intervene kind of way? And looks at the clipboard over Crowfer's shoulder and it's just like, how weren't we gonna talk about the and kind of taps at the clipboard and Crowfer looks down at it and is just like, oh shit. Brunch might be not an option. And this, you see EO pop out, and she's like, you hear her mutter like "fuck the list," and like, she kind of keeps walking out to the front door, um, and Crowfer is like, well, maybe Callisto, could we just push that to like maybe at noon? Could we push that meeting to noon? Callisto is just like blown away that this is happening and looks at Din, looks at you again, and it's just like, I'm sorry. I would just I'm so intrigued. Maybe I could tag along on this brunch just to, well, and he kind of like, and Crowford just like, you can't see him, but he's like prickling up, like no, like does not want Callisto to chaperone this brunch, but it's
Yeah,
just,
okay, Mom. How about you let us go?
uh, but and he kind of like puts his hand, Callisto puts his hand on Crowfer's shoulder, again, not in like a possessive like you're mine way, but in like a friend like I am concerned about you way, and kind of is like, can I just, could we talk for a second privately? Crawford's like, oh yeah, don't go anywhere, okay? And kind of leaves you to just kind of step away with Callisto for a moment.
We should
I
go,
was
we
this
should go,
close
we
to
should
saying,
go.
Alvi, release the bees.
Chaos. Okay.
Ah!
I think we're going to pause there with Callisto kind of drawing Crowfer away. Din kind of in this awkward position.
Fucking
Alvi,
Calypso, like go somewhere else. Ugh.
he was right
Everyone cock
there.
block
He was right
Callisto.
there.
He wasn't when we started,
Well, you
okay?
knew that Din specifically chose to eavesdrop on this conversation where Callisto was. Yeah, interesting developments today. Lots to kind of resolve next game. Who knew Crowfer was gonna fall in love with Din? Um,
Everybody.
Wait,
Not
is it
me.
once per session or once per like situation? Because if it's once per session, next session you can use it on Callisto.
And make them both fall
I
in love with
might
you.
I might rule that since
I
we've
think it
used
would
it
take it away.
like literally against an NPC right there and then, like who is still in love with Din, I think I would say like you can't really use it until after you want this effect to
You
be
could be
over.
like a threesome,
Listen, I'm
Mhm.
not saying that
a
that wouldn't be great. I'm
triplet.
just saying that for the purposes of not making this like absolute
Give me the lover's mask, and
insane
I'll make
chaos.
Callisto fall in love with me
Yeah, there
and
you
my
go.
bees.
Just be like, 1 second, I
Everyone
need to
gets a
give my
lover's
friend the
mask.
mask real quick.
It's just like a cardboard mask I put on my face. I'm just like, you
Does
love
You're
me
this
like, hey,
work?
now.
Callisto, I like bees. And Callisto's like, I'm fascinated. Let's go.
Not only do
um
I like them, but I am full of them.
God.
okay. Thanks again, everybody. You know what? I absolutely loved seeing all of the recommendations in chat for how to flirt with Crofer. You guys,
I liked the 12 minutes of Crofer
the
names. Or
12
What
sorry,
to
minutes of Crofer
call
Crobler.
names.
Crofer?
Crobler.
There's
So
what?
many. So
I said
many of
what to
the things.
call
What to
Crofer.
call
Right.
Crofer? How to flirt with
Matt just
Crofer?
gave us, hey, Krobler, are you wearing space pants? Because that ass is out of this world.
I love the idea about Callisto's trying to have this like, "Are you okay? Have you been roofied?" conversation with his friend. Like Din is like, "Yo, that ass!" like,
Yeah, just smack it as he turns around to go to Callisto.
no, and
A
just to
lot of
answer,
people don't know this, but Krobler is actually wearing extremely tight jean shorts.
very tight
They're
jeans,
very tight.
He's
full
really
He's a
full
never
jorts,
nude.
just
It's
extremely,
all
Oh my,
about the
yeah.
jorts.
extremely tight.
Yeah.
I had an absolutely delightful time tonight with all the chaos in the chat and the antics of the players. So well done, all. Just to remind everybody, you can use exclamation point donate to get both more information and also a link to somewhere to donate if you have money and means to do so to support a group that is working against racism against who's working to combat racism against, there we go, or my God, the words are not coming right now. Working to combat racism against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. You can also check out our merch.
I will also say just really quickly
Yeah,
about that in talking to a friend of mine who is Asian American, and she is both excited but frustrated that this is now getting attention, because she said, as she was saying, that this has been something that's been going on for a year now at least. And so just to keep in mind that this isn't new and it's only growing. And so like it's really important to try and do what you can to stop this before it gets worse. And you know, maybe check in with your friends and see how the fuck they're doing. Maybe they're scared for themselves or their family, and maybe they just want to know that somebody is fucking thinking of them and is like, hey, do you want to talk? I don't know how you're doing with all this. So that's just a thought that I had in that too, because, I think that what she said was she was just real frustrated that it's now people are caring because it's become this, even though it's been building for so long, so
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much for adding that. And yeah, just the importance of staying informed about these things, um, even when they're not at the forefront of the news cycle, because it can make a big difference not only personally and interpersonally, like what Rachel was just saying, but also in terms of the impact that we can make to help um, end or just kind of dismantle little bits and corners and pieces of the racism machine that runs America. So, um, yeah, with that, I invite you all to do what you can, both for the people in your communities, the people in the communities beyond our own, and for yourselves in terms of managing your stress and needs, and also infusing your life with joy here and there to try and just stay afloat right now. And we'll be back next week for more Spire, so you can see has Sten become a luck priest of Stoles? Does Din get to have her romantic brunch with Crofer? Is Callisto the biggest
Ooh.
cockblock did you ever expect? And will Alvy release the bees? We'll find out next week with Spire. And in the meantime, see you tomorrow maybe for Tiermoon Trial. Hang in there. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.